Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're getting ready to head out to South Texas to do some hunting. I'm gonna hunt an axis buck. I've never hunted an axis buck before in my life. Thanks to our friends over at Predation Pro who are making this possible. It's an all expense paid trip for me to come down just to be a trigger puller. Can't thank them enough, so how can I say no to that? But they're taking us down to South Texas to a ranch I've been to before, and we're gonna hunt this axis buck. Now the axis buck is a beautiful animal, and I really look forward to harvesting the buck because I hear the meat's pretty darn tasty. The rifle, we'll talk about this here a little bit more before we head out, but this is the rifle we're gonna be using. I do wanna point this out. This is my friend Nick Taylor 00. It's a fellow YouTuber, and he makes these little cover garments. He's a competitive shooter, but when I saw these online, I was looking for something to protect my optics when in the field and walking around in the rather rough Texas South Texas brush, I should say. I found this, and I picked this up from his online store. So this allows me to cover up my optics. And we'll talk more about these here in a few minutes. What we're going to do next, guys, is make sure that everything's all set up on this rifle. So let's do that now. Let's head over to the shooting bench and do a little bit of shooting with the rifle, and then let's get on the road and start our 24-hour drive down to South Texas. Before we head out into the field, we like to make sure that everything's going to work as it should. So we're going to zero the rifle, make sure that everything's squared away before we make the trip out to our actual hunting destination. Now keep in mind, guys, here in Indiana, we're about 700-800 feet above sea level. When we get down to South Texas, we're going to be closer to sea level. So we're going to have different elevations, and we're going to have different atmospheric conditions. It's probably going to be a little bit warmer, at least I hope. And so things may change in terms of point of impact. So we'll make sure everything's working here, and then before we hit the field where we're going to hunt, we're going to double check things just to make sure everything's squared away. That's so we can get a clean harvest. So the ammunition that we're going to be using on the hunt is Hornady Black. This is from our friends over at Freedom Munitions, and this is a 123 grain ELD bullet, and it's a 6.5 Grendel. So this round should be more than potent enough to take down an axis buck. Now an axis buck is a fairly good sized animal. Hopefully we'll find a nice big one while we're out hunting around. But yeah, so that's the ammunition in the rifle. We're going to use is a BCI Defense. It's a standard AR15 from BCI. We do sell them at Copper Custom. This one's sporting a custom Cerakote job that we did at Copper Custom. We did kind of a flat, dark, earthish type camo pattern, and we do have the Cross of St. James from the Mac logo right there on the magazine well. And yeah, I think it looks really, really sharp. So it is sporting a 6.5 Grendel Faxon barrel. Out on the end, we have the Battleground suppressor, which is manufactured by BCI Defense on its quick detach mount. The optics, these optics are actually sent over to us to play around with from our friends over at Optics Planet, so we're getting a feel for how this system works together. Now I had a chance to check this stuff out when I was out at Leopold, and I became very interested in it. When I first learned about the Devo in particular, I wasn't all that interested. I thought it was kind of awkward with having the optic hanging off the side. And then it was explained to me it's not meant for CQB type stuff, it's really meant for hunting, and in particular predator hunting. I thought, wow, now that actually makes sense. And then while I was out there in Oregon, I was shooting long distance with this setup. So you have a 6-power magnification here with the bullet drop reticle, and then sitting in front of it we have the LCO. So this is the Devo. The LCO is just the high-end red dot sight offered from Leupold, and so they work together. And how we set this up is so that when I'm on the rifle and I'm looking through the red dot sight, if I'm close range inside, say, 50 yards, and I know I can take a clean shot with no magnification, just a simple red dot sight, I have that red dot sight. Now, if all of a sudden my game walks out at 100 yards or more, all I have to do, I don't have to change my head position at all. I have to take my eye, and where I'm looking at the red dot, I look 11 degrees lower, and boom, I have magnification and a BDC. So it's really simple to go from red dot to BDC to red dot to magnified BDC. So it's just a matter of looking up and down slightly. The system works really, really well. We've played with it quite a bit before taking it hunting, and I'm confident in my abilities in using this setup. I think it's really, really slick for that. Now, the downside is you're carrying around a little bit of extra weight, and you do have, obviously, something hanging off the side of the gun. So that might make it a little bit more cumbersome if you're walking through thick brush. I don't know what we're going to expect out in Texas. So anyway, the other thing, the guys over at Nikon were nice enough to send me these to play with as well. These are their Laser Force 10 by 42, I believe. And these have an integrated laser rangefinder. So if you guys have watched me in the field in the past, I've used a small handheld laser rangefinder. And when these came out, I really wanted to try them out. So this will be the first time I'll actually have a chance to use these in the field. Basically, all you have to do is just take a look at the target through the binos, focus them like you normally would, and then you just have a button on top right here by your index finger. You just hit that button, and it fires a laser, and right in your line of sight, we are at 99 yards from our challenge steel target downrange. Very handy. Now I just can carry a binocular instead of carrying binoculars and a separate laser rangefinder. And yeah, I'm really glad to have these in my possession right now. I like simplification. I like getting stuff, taking less stuff into the field. All right, so we got, I think, about 6 rounds of this 123 grain ELD ammunition loaded up from Hornady. And we're just gonna go ahead, and just fire off a few rounds here at our challenge target that is exactly 100 yards away, 99. But from the muzzle, just a little short of 100 yards. All right, let's see how this shoots. Now the first 3 rounds, I'm gonna use the red dot sight, guys, okay? And then after I fire the first 3 rounds, then I'm gonna shift and fire the next 3 rounds using the magnified optic of the Devo. All right, red dot sight is spot on. Now I'm gonna just look down, and now I'm gonna use the magnified optic. Very quick, easy to use. The more I use this, the more I like the setup. So the rifle's working fine. It's liking the ammunition. I'm very confident in the overall setup. The suppressor's working good with the gun. We're getting consistent accuracy results. This thing should put the smack down on an Axis buck. When we first arrived at the ranch in South Texas, we didn't waste any time and headed straight out to try and spot and stalk an Axis deer. Alex with Predation Pro led me on the spot and stalk, and it wasn't long until we saw a couple of young Axis bucks off in the distance and a nice mature buck that had a beautiful velvet rack. The mature buck was the buck I was going to try and harvest on this trip. We tried to put a stalk on these bucks and outmaneuver them. However, we couldn't get the wind right with the bucks and get close enough for a nice clean shot. We've had really bad fog, and because of the fog, we decided to sit in a blind for a while. We were going to try to ground stalk, but because every time I got up on them in the low visibility, they kept getting wind on us and disappearing. They're very skittish animals, and my priority in all of this is to get a very clean kill. I don't want to wound an animal. So we know we've seen them in this area. We stalked them all around this particular blind. And now, because of the fog, we're going to see if we can't get them to come out. And I found an absolutely beautiful velvet buck that hopefully we'll see this morning. We've really only been out here for a little while since sun up. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the rifle ready. Weapons on safe. And now we play the waiting game. It's really hard this morning to try to glass and look for animals because it's just it's so foggy. We can only see maybe 50 yards or so. And the lens on my, or the lenses on my optics and on my binos are all covered over with the fog, or with the condensation. So now we just wait, guys. Hopefully we'll see something. I don't know if you guys can hear that wind, but it's pretty bad this morning. And that's how these animals kept getting wind on us. got some deer out there. It's so foggy, my laser rangefinder won't work. Those deer look like they're about 100 yards out, but my laser rangefinder is saying 33 yards, and I can see the laser in my field of view. Just so foggy. The animals are moving, guys. They're definitely moving. Yeah. Less than ideal conditions. It's nice and cold. They will be moving around. Looks. Holy cow, that's our dude. That's our dude. That's our dude. That's our dude. Jason, get down, get down, get down. Oh, look at that. Looks like we have 3 velvets, and there's our monster. Oh, yes. I still can't get a range on him. I'm guessing he's about 60, 70 yards. There's a whole pack of animals out there right now. Dang it. He's looking right at us. These animals are getting wind on us. He's moving. I cannot get a clean shot. He's standing with those other bucks. We still got deer up the road.
Okay, good. Take him. Take him.
Got him, got him, got him, got him, got him. He's down, he's down, he's down. He's moving around, but he's down. It's a clean hit, it's a clean hit. All right. Holy cow. Wow. He's down, he's down. Wow, he went down quick to that Grendel. Everybody else scattered. That wasn't my ideal shot, guys. He got wind on us. We're just going to sit here for a minute, let him expire before we approach him. They can be dangerous. But holy cow, he came out of the woods and he was moving with like 3 other velvet bucks. We had some deer down the road, and he just out of nowhere just popped up off to the right-hand side, just out of the blue, and I could see those distinctive spots. And wow, he was intermingling with the other animals. They kept getting wind on us. They kept looking right at us. They're just 70 yards away, and it's really windy. The wind is not to our favor. But he's down. That wasn't my preferred shot. I like to have him a little bit more in the open, but given the short distance and my confidence in the rifle, it looks like that shot. I could see the ripple. I got him right where I wanted him. All right, let's clear this weapon out. Let's go down and take a look at our animal, guys. This is amazing. That Grendel put him down. Wow, the excitement starts afterwards. All right. Weapon's clear. I keep a loaded magazine in it just in case. Let's go down.
Nice velvet buck, Tim.
Beautiful. Holy cow, man.
Fantastic. Beautiful animal. Great
It
shot.
is a beautiful animal.
Good job.
Look at the spots on this guy. What
Gorgeous.
a beautiful, beautiful animal. So it's normal for him to have these spots. We had to wait for this guy to come out because he was with some deer and he was with 3 other buck, and just had to wait for a clean shot. Doesn't look like we got a pass through on that 6.5 Grendel. So it's inside of him. But this animal's much like a deer, so the shot placement's going to be about the same. And I would say we were inside of 100 yards. Look at the rack on this guy. Look at this rack. Look how big. And it's all velvet, guys. It's soft. Of course, there's hard bone underneath, but man, that rack is just really, really nice to hold on to. You can see their face. They got a little bit of a kicker here, I noticed just now. But a nice symmetrical rack, a little bit of rub on the velvet there. But look at the eyes. Just a beautiful, beautiful animal. All right, I think we're gonna have some Axis buck steak tonight. We'll get them all butchered up and get some meat off of them and see if we can't have ourselves a feast tonight. It's gonna make a beautiful mount too. All right, so how do we get this big, beautiful beast in the vehicle, man, without hurting those antlers?
The Tommy lift.
The Tommy lift. Okay, the Tommy lift. Looks like we got ourselves some hydraulic action here, guys. How much do you think that animal weighs, man?
He's probably every bit of 200, 180.
Wow. You having Rocky Mountain oysters tonight?
Gotta snip them high, too.
Oh man. For me, guys, the excitement starts after I get my animal. It's kind of weird, you know, a lot of people get buck fever and they're really, really, really excited and to get that shot off. And for me, I don't really get excited until I have my animal, and then I get that rush of adrenaline. And like right now, I'm like shaking because for me, it's after the hunt. It's not before. Before it's, I don't know, it's like it's just like you're so focused on trying to get everything done right and get a clean kill that you know, I don't have time to get excited. And then once I get my animal and he's down and I know I have him, I get that rush of adrenaline. I don't know if any of you guys feel the same way I do, or if you get excited before you actually pull the trigger. Me, all the excitement comes afterwards and my animal's down. All right, you on the antlers or me?
We're not going to touch the antlers, Tim, because we want to keep that velvet
Okay.
as pretty as we can for the taxidermist. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab the front legs, if you can grab the back legs, and then I'll walk over there and we'll just lay him in there.
All right.
You ready?
Yep. Wow. Oh, he's heavy.
Okay, hold on. Put him down. Just protect these.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Good job, Tim.
All right, man.
Good job, Tim.
All right, I'll hold the antlers. You go ahead and lift.
Okay.
Got to keep these nice, guys, because this is going to make a beautiful mount. Beautiful mount.
All right.
All right.
Let's get him to the meat room.
All right.
Go get him tagged.
Yeah, we got to tag this animal, guys. Woo!
Beautiful animal.
Thank you so much, man.
Good job, Tim.
What an amazing hunt.
Good shot.
Now the excitement starts. Oh, I'm anxious to see what that bullet did, man.
Yeah, we're gonna find it. We're gonna dig it out and see what it looks like. You can see they got some shoulder to them.
Yeah,
They're
they do.
thick animals.
They are very, very thick animals. I was surprised, man. Like this, I've never
Yeah.
seen one in the wild before, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. But they're muscular.
Yep. Not your Indiana whitetail. A little bit bigger.
Yeah, it is. It is. After lifting, I'm like, yeah, this feels right. All right, man. Let's head back to the ranch.
Good job, buddy.
Thank
Great
you,
shot.
my friend. Thank you, my friend.
Let's go, guys.
The axis deer, like the nilgai I hunted last year, is an invasive species. It's native to India and was brought to the U.S. in 1932 and kept on farms to be used as game meat, much like the nilgai was. Since their introduction, the axis deer have escaped captivity and are now plentiful in the wilds of Texas. They occupy the same ecological niche as the white-tailed deer, meaning they compete with the whitetails for the same available resources. However, the axis have an increased resistance to native diseases, unlike the whitetail, so the axis population have the potential to grow out of control.
You want the coin sack for coins later? Sure.
Okay guys, this is gory, so if you don't want to watch any further, just kind of skip past this part of the video, but I want to show you guys what the 6.5 Grendel out of the SQS-15 AR15 was capable of doing to this axis buck. Now this is a fairly heavy animal. It's a medium-sized game animal, but this would be as big as a really good-sized buck back home in Indiana. Now I want to show you where the shot placement was. I shot him just behind the shoulder blade, slightly quartering away. I was looking for a quartering away shot, but I had to take the shot I had because they won't stick around long. I went through both lungs and just right across the top of the heart, but both lungs were hit, and that's why the animal went down quickly, and it was a clean kill. So here we have, this is the heart of the animal right here, and then we have the lungs on both sides. Here's one of the lungs, completely blown out, okay? So the animal simply could not breathe. And again, on the other side, we, where is it? Here's the other lung, okay? So again, both lungs completely blown out, right across the top of the heart. Didn't hit the heart, but we got both lungs, and that's what you're hoping for. If you're doing good, you can get the heart, that'll bring them down too, but getting both lungs, the animal's unable to breathe, and it will go down very quickly, and it's as painless as you can get, but that's what you're hoping for. You don't want the animal running off into the brush. And this animal just took a few steps and expired very quickly, so it was a good, clean harvest. We're in the process of butchering the axis buck that we took, and it's not complete yet, but we got enough of the meat off of it that I can actually show you the rib cage, and I can show you where the bullet entered the animal and where it exited the animal. So we did get a pass-through shot at about 60 yards. Now, if you'll remember, the animal was standing like this, and I shot it in what would be its left shoulder. Here's its left shoulder, guys. That is my entrance wound. I can't say I've seen too many entrance wounds like that, especially out of something the size of a 6.5 Grendel, guys. I'm telling you, that cartridge packs a wallop. If we look inside the rib cage, again, here is our entrance wound. Right here, you can see my finger sticking through. I can get 4 fingers into that entrance wound. Now this is right where the vitals are. I showed you guys that the bullet passed through both lungs. The heart sits right where my fist is. The bullet passed just across the top of the heart, went through both lungs and hooked, and then exited right here. You can see my finger in the exit wound, so we did get a pass-through shot, okay? So it was, we almost spined him. We can see some damage right here to the spinal column, but I can't feel any broken bone. He went down pretty quick, but I think that was just because of a lack of oxygen. So we got both lungs, almost got the heart, and that entrance wound is considerably larger than the exit wound, and that's right through ribs. That's pretty darn impressive, guys. Pretty darn impressive. Out of a short, lightweight field rifle like the BCI SQS-15, which is no more heavy than just a standard AR-15 that would be chambered in 5.56. So you have that 8-pound rifle that's very easy to lug around in the field, but produces results like that. I'm loving the 6.5 Grendel. I hope you guys enjoyed the axis buck hunt as much as we did. What a beautiful animal. We should have the meat here soon, and I look forward to cutting that stuff up and having some steaks. I hear that axis meat is outstanding, and that animal put, you know, well over 100 pounds of meat in my family's freezer. So I want to thank everybody that made this possible. Predation Pro for inviting us out, setting the whole hunt up. BCI, which we sell through Copper Custom. Great rifles. They're manufactured right here in Indiana. The ammunition performed incredibly well. Possibly too well. I may have just gotten lucky with my shot, but the entrance wound on this thing, when it hit a rib, was absolutely devastating. And we found out later, after we had cleaned the animal, that part of the bullet had split and gone out by the spine. We found more bullet fragments towards the rear of the animal, even though we got a clean broadside shot on it. So the 6.5 Grendel packs a wallop, guys. It took that animal down very cleanly. So I'm very impressed with everything in terms of the rifle's performance, so much for AR-15s not being hunting firearms. And the 6.5 Grendel is amazing. Every time I shoot this cartridge, I fall more and more in love with it. The Hornady Black, the ELD performed very, very well. The battleground suppressor here on the BCI rifle with the optics that we have performed exactly as I expected. I've actually now have even more respect for this optics setup on a hunting rifle. Yeah, it's a little bit heavy, but overall, amazing performance. And again, I'd like to thank the guys over at Optics Planet for making this possible, that I could use this equipment to use on this gun for the hunt. So, all things said, guys, we had a great time. We had an amazing hunt, and we have some other footage that we'll show you guys later. We did some other hunting with some thermals from Pulsar. We'll talk about that more in a future video. But anyway, guys, it was a real blast. We hope you enjoyed coming along with us. If you would like to support us, just swing by and check us out at coppercustom.com. It's our online store. Meanwhile, we're going to get all spun up. We're hoping to have a very fruitful summer in terms of doing some additional hunts, and of course, we will bring you guys along. 10 years in doing this, guys. We've been on YouTube for 10 years. We hope that we have another 10 years to celebrate here in the future. We never know what's going to hold, the future's going to hold for us with YouTube, but hopefully we'll be here 20 years to celebrate. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for all those years of support, and we'll talk to you guys soon.